G'day folks, this is Sim and welcome back to Blood and Bloody Idiot. Well, we've got some good news and we've got some bad news. The bad news is that I started to get prepared to do some work on the grinder down here, and one of the creepers that spawned decided to blow up and take the grinder out with it. So now with the spawner gone, I'm not going to be able to do that. The good news is that I don't have to actually go down there and try to build a grinder with an active spawner that I can't shut down, that's spawning poisonous spiders and skeletons and all sorts of creepers. So anyway, we're going to have to find another alternative. Now, gunpowder, as far as I can tell, the only sources that are available are from creeper drops and from some recipes, but the recipes at the moment, I don't have access to all of the materials. If we have a very quick look at the recipes for gunpowder, you can see here that we've got this 4x4 grid option, which uses sulfur from Natura, which is the cloud sulfur, which is only got from exposed areas in the nether, so that's going to be very hard to find. We've got this gunpowder, which comes from creeper essence, and creeper essence comes from magical crops, and I still haven't even looked at how any of that works. The other options are, well, obviously blocks of gunpowder and creeper hearts, which aren't accessible to us at the moment. And if we go into the crafting recipes, we need saltpeter or niter, and unfortunately I don't have access to any of those. They're obviously a nether ore, but I haven't found any yet. So I will be going mining and hopefully I will find some. The alternative, which is kind of scary and kind of cool, is to build a grinder. And I've gone the wrong way again. I'll meet you at the other end, okay? Okay, let's try that again, shall we? As I was saying, the other option is to create a grinder using a drop trap, and that's going to be interesting considering how much stuff explodes randomly in the game. But I figure if I can make it high enough that everything dies on impact, I might be able to get away with it. And the other alternative is to look at building the base out of obsidian so that it can at least deal with the damage. But we'll worry about that later. What I am going to do now is make our very first power generation, which is something that I have been hanging for pretty badly. I'm probably going to make up a bank of survivalist generators at some point because they are so efficient. They're just very, very slow. But for now, I think the best start we can get is to make a culinary generator. So I've got together the necessary bits and pieces we need to make that, which is essentially red alloy ingots, which are easy enough to make in a smeltery. And I've been using the aluminium and the redstone now that we've got access to redstone to make that up. Brass is pretty straightforward. The steel furnace was a little expensive because to make a steel furnace well, first we had to go and make the smeltery or the high oven, but then you need an iron furnace, which in turn requires a bronze furnace, which in turn requires a copper furnace, and starts off there. So it has taken up a little bit of metal, but I think it's going to be worthwhile. The leadstone energy cell frame, that's not too big a deal. That one again, the recipe is lead, thickened glass, which is just basically glass and sand cooked together, and a block of redstone, and that gives us our culinary generator. Now, the problem is that the machines that I need to build all require even higher tech equipment, so I'm not going to be building anything really fancy just yet. But what I do want to make is some power storage, so we can at least experiment and see how we go. So we're going to make up another leadstone energy cell frame, and to actually convert that into an energy cell we need angmalin ingots as well as some red alloy ingots and some electrum. So what we need to do first is, now let's see if I get this right, we need 2 of the red alloy and an electrum to make a conductance coil. We need the conductance coil plus angmalin. Now that's a mixture of gold and iron, so we make that up in the smeltery using a mixture of iron and gold. That's not too hard to get at this stage of the game, although I don't have a lot of gold. And they go like so. That one goes in there. And now let's see if I can remember. Nope, I may have to check the recipe after all. Or is it electrum? No. Okay, let's just find out quickly what I need, because I can't remember the last part of the recipe. So the use of that is conductance, angmalin. Okay, now that doesn't seem to be the same recipe that I was looking at before. What have I missed? That's a potions generator. Let's just have a quick look at that. I might have overdone it here. Leadstone energy cell. Oh no, I was right. I just had too much of this. Okay, so too easy. So now we have our first leadstone energy cell. It's not particularly flash. It doesn't hold a lot of power, but it will get us started. We can upgrade it straight away though with Damascus steel to a hardened energy cell, and I think that is definitely worth doing. I don't have enough down here, but I should still have some upstairs. So let's run upstairs now and grab some Damascus steel. The defences are still holding out okay. I still haven't had an invasion yet, which does worry me a little bit. I'm still concerned that something might not be quite right. The next update to the 1.6.4 version of this pack is due to come out any day now, and it's got some changes, including a fix for punji sticks, which means that they're no longer going to get blown up by creepers, which will definitely help with base defense. Now we want Damascus steel, and while we've got some Damascus steel, I did make my anvil, and that means that I can now finally repair my armor. 1, 2, and I'm not sure whether there's any waste going on there, so we'll save that. We'll just spend the 1 level, and we may as well do the same with this fella here, although he's probably going to be a little bit more expensive because he's enchant. Oh, that wasn't right. Oi. Yes, 15 to repair him, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Okay. And I've got the grinder downstairs if I really just want to sit and grind out some levels. So let's head back downstairs. And before we do that, let's just have a quick look. We use that to make one of those. We use the hardened energy cell. Can we use that for anything? It doesn't appear to be the case. So I suspect that a redstone energy cell is going to be ridiculously expensive, but that's okay. This is a good start. Let's throw this over into here and upgrade it straight away, and there we go. So that's 2 million RF, which will give us a decent little buffer. Now we'll stick it over here for now. Pop that one down there. Now I'm going to have to work out what the best options are for fueling this thing. For now though, the cheapest food that I've got access to in quantity is potatoes, baked potatoes specifically, and that gives us 20 RF per tick for 5 potatoes, so that's not too bad. Now if I'm to take one of my jelly sandwiches, and we'll just pop that out there for a second, let that finish doing what it's doing. One of my jelly sandwiches gives us 80 RF per tick for 10 seconds, so that's quite a significant improvement. But for now, I wish I could stack more into this. I'm going to have to throw a hopper on top. What we will at least have now is, oh wait, come back here. Power not going into that. What have I done wrong? Oh, input side. No? Oh, yeah, okay. Max input. Now it should be drawing power, and it is. Wonderful. Okay, and those spuds fell out. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll set up a feeder system for food, but we're going to have some power. Now the next thing on the list is going to be a pulverizer, and the pulverizer is where things start to get interesting, because the pulverizer, as I mentioned in the other episode, requires the machine frame, which is fairly common in a lot of the recipes. The Heptazon is not that big a deal. I can make Heptazon with gold and bronze, so that's certainly achievable with the stuff that I've got at the moment. However, the motors themselves, which take the copper coils, require the diamond draw plate, and I don't have enough diamonds yet, so I'm going to have to head back into the nether and do some mining. And at the moment I'm just branch mining down there, so it's not terribly exciting stuff. So I will cut out from here, and I will come back when we have either gotten some diamonds or something really nasty has happened down in the nether that I want to share. Alright, but in the meantime, I'll be back in a blink. Hey folks, we're back, and I've done my little trip to the nether. Still no luck with the cobalt. However, I did get lucky on something much more important. So while we're here, let's grab some Heptazon and some Angmalon and a bunch of copper. And as you can see, I've been doing a little bit of tidying up and organising. I'll talk about that in a minute too. Particularly in here, you can see that it's a lot cleaner now because I've moved a lot of stuff out. But what I have now, whoops, in the right chest, is I found diamond in the nether. So I now have my diamond draw plates, which means that I can make some machines. And let's just do a quick paranoia check and just be sure that, yep, we just need the copper to make the copper coils. So let's head down here now. I can hear you out there, but I can't be bothered doing anything with you at the moment because I haven't got any arrows on me. So I've cleared out down here, and I've made myself a bunch of barrels so that we've got some storage for a lot of the stuff that was starting to clutter up upstairs, and that's certainly going to help. I must admit, I'm really hanging to restart. I'm not going to do so until the new version for 1.7 comes out. But coupled with the fact that I didn't know a great deal about this when I started, and just trying to get my head around how everything worked, and basically just trying to survive, I'm feeling very, very cramped in here. This worked at the end, but now I've got a much better idea of what I can do, so I really, really, really want to be able to set up a base that's actually the way I want it to be. And I've got ideas of what I want to do now, so hopefully that won't be too far away. So we're going to need some steel, but the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need a couple of these copper coils, I think, because we are going to make our very first pulverizer. Yep. And the pulverizer is going to require, let me guess, the one thing I forgot was the bronze. I've got the red alloy ingots, and they need the angmelons, so let's use a couple of these. Now I'm going to be very careful. Do I have any more? I have more down here too. Cool. I am going to be very careful with what I've got until I know what's important, and I'm just going to throw away my terribly expensive diamond draw plate. Let's get back over here. So that plus that and that should give us a reception coil. Now it is a reception coil that I need, isn't it? Yes, good. Don't want to muck that up. And we're going to need a piston. Now they haven't changed the piston rest. Oh, they have. Red alloy ingots. Okay, well, I'm glad that I didn't use up all of my red alloy. Let's grab that. And I think, was it iron or steel? Knowing Eyamaz, wouldn't surprise me if it was steel, but let's just double check. No, it is iron. Okay, so it's not that bad. We're going to need a couple of cobblestone and some wood, so we're going to have to go back upstairs anyway. I need to decide whether I want to move my smeltery downstairs. It's not going to be that big a deal to do so, but it's obviously going to be a lot of mucking around. These chests, by the way, they're not too bad. They've got a lot of size, but you can't pick them up with a dolly. So you can pick up normal chests, and you can pick up barrels with a dolly, but the dolly doesn't recognize these as a chest, which means that you have to empty everything out of them to move them, which is a right pain in the butt. So what did I need that I'd forgotten? I needed some bronze, which is down here. Let's grab that. And we need some wood, and I'm going to have to get used to where all my ladders are now. Do we have any in here? Yeah, we do. Alright, so let's quickly make that piston up. And that one and that one. Nope, got it the wrong way around. I do that with a normal piston recipe as well. And it was a normal piston, not a sticky one. Good. Okay, and we may as well make the... Did it again. I need iron. Alright, and I thought I was so well prepared. Obviously not. Alright. Iron. And how does the recipe go? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. We need to do that twice. So we're going to need an extra iron. So there's 2 Tinker's alloy gears. We need a couple more bronze and the machine frame, and that requires all of this and an aluminium ingot. Okay, I'd forgotten about that as well. Where's my redstone? Right here. Let's bounce back up here and see whether I've actually got any aluminium. I should. What's the bet that I don't? Aluminium. Everything but aluminium. That'd be right. Do I have any aluminium dust? No. Okay. Well, let's just throw some in here quickly. I just put it there. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Going blind. Thank you. And I'm not going to waste lava in there. We'll just throw this into... all the furnaces are downstairs. Okay. Let's just make sure. Is there anything else? The motor requires steel, redstone, aluminium, copper coils. Alright, that's everything that we need. So let's duck downstairs and finish this off. Now, the good news. The latest update for the 1.6 version has come out. And after this episode I'm going to be taking a backup, and then I'm going to be upgrading. So it'll be interesting to see what changes actually come up at the time. I don't really want to waste coal on two of those, so let's just burn some stairs, shall we? And in the meantime, let's see, we need copper coils, we need steel and redstone, and the aluminium, there's one, thank you very much. So that gives us our motor, and then for that, okay, oh, it doesn't, yes, it's always been a shame that you can't shift click into a table. Alright, so we got that, plus, not that way around, that comes later. We need the machine frame first, which is the heptazone and the steel. So heptazone and steel. All of this effort just for a pulverizer, and then we can go there and there and there, and 2 gears and 2 more bronze, and we have a pulverizer, our first machine. And for now we're just going to whack the beastie in here, because I can turn that hopper around to suit. And obviously we're going to need to output to the back. Oh, I was right there. So that should be, now that is the back, isn't it? Please tell me I don't have to make a conduit. I should be able to output straight to that machine. Or maybe not. What is the output? Oh, well, how about we turn the output on? What can that thing take? I can never remember. Maximum of 40, so that's all we'll worry about for the time being. Well, 50 maybe. And now, hopefully, we have power! Right, now, part of the reason that I'm doing this is because the Applied Energistics grinder is great, but Jesus, it's slow. It's only good for watching YouTube videos. What I want to be able to do is a couple of things. Niter, I haven't been able to find saltpeter ore. Oh, I better eat something quickly. In the nether yet. I may still get lucky, because I'm going to have to do a lot of mining between episodes. However, one of the ways that you can get niter for gunpowder is by pulverizing, actually it's right there, so that'll come in handy. If we pulverize sandstone, we get half the sand that's used to make it up back, and a 15% chance of niter. We need 2 to make gunpowder with it, but I've got access to pulverized coal or normal coal, and plenty of the sulfur, so that's going to give us a source of gunpowder, which is going to keep this thing running until I figure out if there is any other material I can use instead of gunpowder that's going to be reasonably decent. The other things that I have done, because we're going to call this episode very shortly now that we've done that, is I have upgraded my pickaxe with Silk Touch, so that now I can mine in the nether without worrying quite so much about explosions. And this particular pickaxe I am going to upgrade with lapis to give it fortune, but unfortunately I'm going to have to level it up quite a bit before I can actually do that. So that's something that I'm going to have to deal with fairly soon. Is there anything else that I've done other than the general tidying up? Oh, I have done a little bit of work on the grinder downstairs just to make it a little bit more efficient. It doesn't make a huge difference, but it helps. And I have enchanted all of my armor that I currently have. I could have done a little bit better on some of the enchants, but if I'm feeling like watching some videos, I'll probably just go and grind out some levels and enchant some books. I am also thinking very, very seriously about experimenting with a mob grinder to see whether it does in fact blow itself to pieces or whether it works. But we'll get to that at a later date. I also need to look at automating some sort of crop growth so that I've got food to both power the culinary generator and keep me fed. So I'm definitely going to be looking into building a harvester. The harvester recipe, and it's also obviously going to require power. The harvester recipe though requires a cobalt axe, and cobalt is one of the things that I have definitely been suffering from a lack of, and I don't know of any way to get cobalt other than the nether. So I'm just going to have to keep looking until cobalt gravel, oh, where does that come from? I'm just going to have to keep looking until I get lucky and find some. But anyway, so there we go. We have now moved on to the next stage, albeit we've only just got a little bit into it, but we now at least have power, and we have the first of our machines, and we have quite a few materials that we can use to make some more. So I'm going to work my way through and just basically focus on the essentials as I need them and go from there. It's a start, and hopefully this place won't get blown up, but then this is blood and bloody idiots, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, look after yourselves everybody and take care of each other, and ciao for now.